Today, we're going to be talking about what you should expect from your loan officer as a first-time home buyer, even maybe not as a first-time home buyer. What I see across the industry is that consumers are getting terrible service. They're being sent shopping without having a clue what the payment is, how it affects their debt to income, are there any potential problems with their file? They're just being sent out. And you may go, Jen, why would a lender do that? It's easy. It's laziness at its finest. And look, a lender, if they just, you fill out an application, they give you a letter. If you come back with a house, great, they might get a paycheck. They didn't put much effort in, right? That's what you see a lot of. And you may go, well, my real estate agent recommended this lender, and I talked to them for like 10 minutes and now I have a letter, but they didn't go over payments. They didn't go over closing costs. Should I be worried? Yes, 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 yes. Say it with me. Yes, you should be worried. You need to demand more, okay? Do not settle for a lazy lender. And I'm gonna tell you why. This is the biggest purchase that you are gonna make in your entire life, and they are sending you out blind, right? It's like sending a kid out in the snow without mittens. They're gonna lose a finger. Do you want that to happen to you? No. And the consequences are far worse than a finger because it could be your financial livelihood. So let's dig into this. And look, I'm going to re-examine that analogy later because it's ridiculous, but I think it made the point. Here's what you need. You need a lender who is going to go through your file with you. You want them to ask for all your documents. If a lender's not asking for your documents, it's a red flag. The last thing that I want as a lender is to give you a letter that I cannot stand behind. That's why I love a fully underwritten pre-approval. Not all lenders do these. And you may be like, why not? We can't charge for them. You can't charge for a fully underwritten pre-approval. So lenders are like, why would I do all that work? Why would I tie up processors? Why would I tie up underwriters if I'm not guaranteed a paycheck? That's why so many companies and so many lenders don't do it. Thankfully, I work for a company where they realize like, hey, this is really good for the borrower. And that's what we want to do. We want to do what's right for the buyer. We want them to go shopping and be as strong as possible. We want them to have the knowledge and the confidence that we will perform, okay? Now look, most lenders don't do this, but I would demand a fully underwritten pre-approval. Now, beyond that, what do you need? You gotta go through the numbers. It's that simple. It's so common that someone is given a letter without the lender taking the time to go through the projected payment. So with the way that I do my business, if an application's filled out, it goes to someone on my team. Every single person on my team is licensed. So important. If you're working with a lender and they have someone giving you rates who's not licensed, that's a red flag. So everybody's licensed, everybody has a ton of experience, you know, very consumer focused, similar mindset. So they're gonna help structure up front, they're gonna get the file to processing, to underwriting, and then you're with me. I cackle because sometimes my phone calls are scary, not on purpose, it's because I'm trying to educate you. So if you've had one of these calls with me, you can always chime in and be like, it was scary but fun, or it was scary, or it was fun. Anyways, so on this call, what I do is I go through, hey, this is what I currently have you approved at. This is where your debt to income is, okay? This is what a payment looks like now, but your variables are gonna be taxes and insurance. How do you feel about that payment? Very important. I don't max qualify people. A lot of lenders do. So what they do is they push you up to the maximum that they can get through their system. That's a mistake. When I'm qualifying to either the payment you're comfortable with or the amount that you asked for. And then again, we're gonna talk about it. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's not uncommon that someone says to me, wow, I didn't know it was gonna be that much. And the reason they don't know it's going to be that much, it's not because rates are higher or anything dramatic like that. Sometimes, if there's been a swing in the market, it may be, but generally it's taxes and insurance, right? You know, and I'll sit there and go, look, like you're looking in this area, always get an insurance quote, but If, for instance, you bought a house 10, 15 years ago, or you own a house now, what you pay in insurance is very different than what you're going to get buying a new house generally. Okay, so we go through the payments. Sometimes people are like, can I go higher? Yeah, we play with it. Okay, if I go higher, this is what it looks like. Let me send it over again. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And we go back, we go forth, we go back, we go forth, right? It's a conversation, and it should be. And, it's not uncommon that I'll have people where I've sent over, 3 or 4 loan summaries while we're on the phone, and they're then doing a budget with it later to see where they're comfortable, okay? And we're talking about the variables. I'm also going through what to expect with closing costs. If a lender says to you, oh, it's like 4%, it's 2%, it's 3%, no, line by line. And look, guys, we helped close to 500 homeowners into houses last year. That doesn't even count refis, okay? I have time to do that with each client. There's no excuse that another lender should have to not have the time to do that. If I'm taking the time to do that, I'm telling you right now, they have time. Okay, so you want to make sure you're working with a lender that's going to go through line by line by line by line. Now, something else I do is a lot of times people are coming to me direct. So we're talking about, hey, like, have you found a real estate agent? How's it going? We'll look up how much production they've done. Have they had you sign a buyer's agreement? We can't review buyer's agreements. We can't negotiate them for you. But look, we ask all those questions. We have the conversation. We make sure you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, we're always happy to recommend someone. We do not get kickbacks, nothing weird like that at all. We just want you to be with a professional, I also like to ask, hey, like, are you looking at any houses specific? And a lot of times people will say, well, I don't have anything I like right now. And I'll be like, okay, but what have you been looking at on Zillow or Realtor.com? And I want to look at it with them. The reason I want to look at it with them is twofold. Number one, I want to point out stuff to look out for, not as a lender, but as a human. Now, should you expect every lender to do this? No, I think it's really just me being extra, but it's also because I've had so many experiences where, houses have issues that I don't want. I always tell myself when something horrible happens to me with housing that it happened to me so that I can educate you so it doesn't happen to you. So I'll go through pictures, and recently I was on the phone with someone and they were very particular, but I noticed, the house had a lot of cameras on it. And I was like, hey, this is unusual. Like, why does it have 4 cameras at the front door? It's the nitpicky stuff like that that makes you start thinking about other stuff. I also like to do it because sometimes someone will be looking at a house where it's not going to be financeable. I don't want you getting your heart set. I don't want you getting in contract. I don't want you paying for appraisal and inspections if I can look at the picture and say, this isn't going to work. And I can, look, sometimes is there stuff that comes up where we're surprised? Absolutely. Like, pictures don't always tell everything, but there's a lot of times where I look at the pictures and I'm like, that wall is falling down, and based on those pictures, that blackness is mold, and you're not going to get traditional financing. You need a renovation. I had that conversation last night. If you're watching, I was real about it. Anyways, but we're always happy to look at the pictures to be like, yeah, that's going to be a problem, or no, it's not. Guys, that's the bare minimum, right? Like, that's the bare minimum. You need a loan officer that is on your side. You need a loan officer that can sit down on the phone with you and go through numbers and ask questions and explain things like, hey, what is title? What is escrow? Why are you paying for a year of homeowners insurance up front? If you're comparing multiple lenders, what do you need to watch out for? That is my job as a loan officer. And that is what a lot of loan officers do, but there's a lot of loan officers who don't. And as a consumer, you have a choice. And here's the thing that I don't think people realize. You don't pay more to get excellent service. You don't pay more to get a lender who passionately cares about the outcome of your home buying purchase. It doesn't cost more. The scary thing is that often what we see is it's the lenders who really don't do much business. They close 3 or 4 loans a year that are charging people the most. It's the call centers where you get terrible service. I see this so much with VA, where they're charging you more. They don't want to give you a loan summary. They won't talk about interest rates. all of that is red flag. So look, you as a home buyer have a choice. Choose someone who will take the time with you. And I'm telling you right now, because a lot of times I'll see this, people will be like, yeah, I just think they're too busy, Jen. You know, like they're nice, but they're just really busy. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if I can do the level of business that I do, run a YouTube channel, deal with my empty nest syndrome, and take time with every single client after they're underwritten to do this, they can too. So if they're not, it's not because they're busy, it's because they don't think that it's worth their time. And I'm telling you right now, this is your biggest purchase and you are worth the time. So demand it. Okay? So look, questions, comments, as always, reach out. If you want to work with the team and I, fill out an application, zerostressmortgage.com, or call us, text us. If you have questions before, we're happy to help you plan, even if it's 2 years from now. I literally hired 2 wonderful women just to answer the phone who understand mortgages and are licensed just to answer your questions. Seriously, 786-933-2077. Or if you're a planner and you're like, I need a set time and date, book a time on the calendar. The bottom line is, look, when I bought my first house, it was a miserable experience. I knew nothing. I wasn't in the mortgage industry. We ended up house poor. It was horrible. I don't want that to happen to you. So anyways, look forward to talking to you all, and I hope this video helped.